All the articles on The Onion are all satire. They're stories that are made up to make us laugh. But even though they're there to make us laugh, there are actually some truths hidden in those articles. So today we're checking out the best articles about dogs on The Onion. Dog can immediately tell exactly how man's previous dog liked to be touched. It's not bad, but it's just painfully obvious that he's recycling scratching moves that he used for years on his old dog, said Pumpkin, a 3-year-old long-haired Australian Shepherd, adding that his former dog, a golden retriever named Noodles, clearly had a thing for getting her belly, ears, and paws rubbed. Different dogs actually do have preferences for where they enjoy being touched. As a general rule though, most dogs hate being touched on the top of the head and on their back, and the places they like the most under their chin, their chest, and their bellies. Collect a dog always wearing the same clothes. I know it's cute to put clothes on our dog, dress them up right, pretend like they're a little kid, but always keep in mind the weather. It's very easy in even weather we don't think is super hot for dogs to overheat. Remember, their body temperature naturally is a lot higher than ours, then they've got that whole coat of fur. So if you're gonna put clothes on your dog, make sure that we're doing it at a time where the weather and the heat is not gonna be an issue. Cool dog doesn't give a shit about other dog passing him on sidewalk. If your dog is properly socialized, that actually should be the reaction that your dog always has. Whenever you see a dog lunging and barking on leash at another dog or another person or anything, whatever it is, usually it stems from a lack of socialization. Leash reactivity is a very common behavioral issue, but luckily can be fixed. Riding dogs, is it really as bad as we've been led to believe? Yeah. I think this is probably the only one that I'm not laughing at, because this is an actual very serious issue. Whenever you hear about children getting bit by dogs, 99% of the time it's because the child did something that provoked the dog to bite. And it's not necessarily the child's fault alone. Usually the blame falls on the parents because children don't know any better. As adults, we have to tell the children and be training the children as much as we train the dog what they're allowed to do. We don't set the dog up to fail. Allowing babies to lay on top of dogs, children to sit on dogs, you're asking for the dog to bite. It should never be allowed. Study finds dogs twitching in sleep are dreaming about tearing owners limb from limb. After thousands of hours of observation, we're forced to conclude that any dog witnessed making even the slightest of movements in its sleep is living out a cathartic version of absolutely mauling their owners, said lead researcher Dr. Hannah Michaels. So dogs do actually dream the same way as humans do. We know this because we've studied the dog's brains and have done scans of them while the dogs are sleeping and are able to monitor what the dog's brain activity looks like. If you want to learn more about dog sleep in detail, I have a whole video on that topic. Dog who successfully detected cancer in owner put down for practicing medicine without a license. Oh no. The fact that this dog's diagnosis happened to be correct in this isolated case does not absolve him of the crime of fraudulent practice. We must eradicate any and all dogs who practice medicine illegally in order to ensure standards within the medical community are maintained. Some of the stuff that dogs are being trained to do nowadays is really amazing, and believe it or not, they actually are being trained to detect cancer and other medical issues. Dogs' noses are so sensitive that they can pick up things that we could never dream of smelling ourselves. Man walking dog will be judge of what warrants sniffing. Local man Kenneth Granger announced Monday that he would be the judge of what warranted sniffing. I thought I taught you to be a little more discerning, but until then, I'll be the judge of what is and is not deserving of an extra whiff. Normal tree? Yeah, right, buddy. We have those in the yard. No need to waste another 5 seconds on this one. You know, it's funny, but this is actually so true. So often I see people always yanking the dogs and pulling the dogs when they're on leash out for walks as soon as the dog stops to try to smell something. Remember, in dog world, smelling things is very fun. It's exciting. It's mental stimulation for the dog. And when we're taking our dog out for a walk for the dog's sake, we really should let the dog dictate the pace and decide what they want to smell. I know to us humans, that flower or that tree or whatever the dog is smelling, that rock, might not seem very special or very exciting, but to the dog, it means the world. Take your walk slow. Let the dog dictate the pace. All right, we got a question and answer section here. Let's take a look. How to deal with common dog behavior problems. My dog frequently barks and howls when I get home. How do I calm him down when he greets me? You can easily solve this problem by trading in your dog for a cat. It's funny that that's the suggestion because I've actually seen lots of videos of owners coming home and their cats being just as vocal as dogs. If your dog ever is super vocal when you come home and just crazy excited, the best thing is just to ignore them for about 3 to 5 minutes. You give them a chance just to kind of calm down, relax, and then you go over and start petting them, give them attention. What should I do if my dog urinates indoors? Urinating is how dogs mark their territory, true. If your dog has urinated in your home, quickly transfer all titles into their name and leave the property immediately. So yeah, it is true that dogs will pee to mark their territory. But we also have to kind of look at, did that behavior come out of nowhere? If your dog is 100% house trained and then starts peeing in the house just out of the blue, could be a sign that maybe there's something medically wrong. Maybe a urinary tract infection, something wrong with the kidneys. Make sure to get your dog checked out if you ever see that happening. How do I help my dog with his severe anxiety during fireworks? Explain to your dog that he's back from Afghanistan and that the days of heavy gunfire and surviving multiple IED blasts are behind him. Dogs being afraid of fireworks, and specifically the sound of the fireworks, it's a very common phobia dogs develop. I have a whole video on how to help dogs with fear, but one of the things we can do is thunder shirts. It's something we put on the dog and it gives the dog kind of a swaddled feeling. Helps with anxieties. What do I do if my dog is shedding its skin? Come to think of it, you might actually have a snake. It's totally normal for dogs to shed their hair, not normal for dogs to shed skin, but it does actually happen. If you're seeing flakes of the dog's skin coming off, could be a sign that they have some kind of skin allergy, maybe something with their food is causing it. Good idea to get them checked out at the vet. What should I do if I keep getting weird looks while breastfeeding my dog in public? Unfortunately, the US is still behind other countries in terms of its regressive views on breastfeeding, and there's nothing you could do to change that. That one, unfortunately, I don't have any advice for. How do I get my dog to stop chewing on furniture while I leave? Sounds like he needs nature's medicine, the crate. I'm not a big fan of crates for dogs. In reality, what we should be doing is giving the dogs things they're allowed to chew on when we leave. Things like puzzle toys stuffed with food inside of them. How do I stop my dog from begging while I eat dinner? Crate time. If you ever want to give your dog food from the table while you're eating, there's nothing wrong with that. It's not going to make the dog think they're the leader or they're in charge. However, if you don't want them to beg, you have to be 100% consistent that no matter what happens, when they come to you and start to beg for food, you ignore them. They never get food. The one time that you slip and give them food, it's just ruined about 100 times of ignoring them. So consistency is key. Alright guys, that's all for today. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell. Turn on notifications so you get updates when new videos go live. And if you ever need a little extra help training your dog, check out my website, brightdog.com. See you next time.